All right, and we're live. What's going on, guys? We are on, I think, day 6 of this 30-day mini series I've been doing. Tonight we got Lennon Leon, buddy I've known for a while, does some multifamily stuff, actually owns a deal in Jacksonville. I actually don't know where a lot of his other stuff is, so have to find out when he gets on and joins. But yeah, he's a really good guy, going to give us some good insights. Also just has a different probably perspective on a lot of different things coming from a different country, different cultural background. So I'm excited to hear that. And now he's on. So Lennon, what's going on, bud?
What's up, my friend? How's
How are you
everything?
I'm doing all right. Trying to stay sane, trying to stay safe. I was in Brooklyn and then went out east about 2.5 weeks ago. So been out in the burbs for a little while, going a little bit stir crazy, but doing what I got to do.
Yeah. So you're not in New York like at this point in time.
Not in the city, no. I'm out on Long Island, so still New York,
Right.
but yeah, it's
Right.
not quite the same. Where are you out of again? Miami, right?
Miami, Florida. Yeah.
What's how's it been like for you?
Man, it's been not easy for sure because specifically for me, time a bitch really.
Yeah.
I was before this whole thing. I was going through some personal issues, very like some serious stuff, family wise and all that. And then this happened,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been hard.
Yeah.
But as I was mentioning to one of my friends today, I'm not even sure if I would change a thing, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I enjoy, because first of all, I enjoy spending time on my own,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot.
Okay.
So
you're in heaven right now.
yes, I like the fact that I see people saying like, well, I mean, I need to go out, like can't stay in here. Like I only had that issue after a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So I'm good on that side. But yeah, I mean, it's been challenging, man. It's been challenging. It's obviously scary. It's the uncertainty. It's huge, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of it. How about you?
Yeah, just I'm definitely kind of the same. I can go a little while by myself. I prefer definitely to I always need time to myself, but I am definitely going a little bit stir crazy where I'm like, okay, be nice to see another face, be nice to interact with some other people, or just even just rub shoulders with somebody on the subway. As much as I used to hate it, would be nice. Maybe once, and then that would be my fill for the year. But no, but I'm somewhat similar. I'm not like a big extroverted, need to be with people all the time to stay on top of my stuff. So I'm probably doing a lot better than most. But before we get too much in it, can you spend like a minute or 2 or 3 minutes just on who you are, your background, and kind of, your, what you do and stuff like that?
Sure. Born and raised in Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Moved to the United States in 2010. Been investing in real estate since 2009, actually, when we came in. When I say we, it's my family.
Okay.
We bought a small portfolio of condos here in Miami. Great time, obviously, to buy. Yeah. And then we bought a couple of single families, actually bought a piece of land as well. So I was managing my family's portfolio, not portfolio, like group of properties that we had for quite a few years while I was going to school for engineering management. I did my master's here in Miami and FIU. And yeah, I've been in real estate ever since. I started working on supply chain management and all that for a couple of years. Hated it. My boss hated me. It wasn't working. So I ended up getting my real estate license, did the real decided I don't want to have this personal conversations about what color of the walls you like and what properties you want to buy. So definitely went into the investment side and started deploying my family's capital into real estate syndications, multifamily specifically. And I figured, I like this. I think this makes a lot of sense for us as a family. So I started building a company around it. So now we're investing our family's capital, but we're bringing investors and families like ours on the deals that we invest in. And we've participated in more than 2,000 units now in Dallas, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Orlando, and Jacksonville. So we have LP and GP investments on almost all of those deals.
Okay. So you're in 5 different properties in Florida and Texas, right?
Yeah, I think it's 7 properties.
7 properties? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Are you guys involved in anything else? Like, do you guys still own stuff in Miami? Do you own, I know you said something about land, or
no, we sold everything. Yeah, we sold everything and started moving it into these deals that we were doing ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, actually we do a combination of both. We partner up with other sponsors, and then we also do our own deals. We've done one of those in Jacksonville, and so that's kind of what we offer our investors at our company. It's like, okay, listen, we're not just one operator. We are operators, but what we're building is a network of operating partners that we invest with. We're going to do that anyway for our family. Like, we need to do it, right? So might as well, capitalize on it a little bit and get a little bit more active on the asset management or wherever we can bring value. But we don't really want to necessarily run the show across the board.
Gotcha. No, I hear you. Okay. And how has it been the last couple weeks? How's April been for collections, across the different areas and properties and stuff like that?
Yeah. Timing's perfect right now because it's been today's 8th, right? April 8th. So yeah, we have a pretty good picture now of what collections look like. We can compare to the previous month and year over year and everything. So what we're seeing right now really is some 10% or so less in collection.
Okay.
Than what we normally would. So April 8th, we're probably around I would say 80% or so. Maybe by the end of the month, we'll end up at some 85, where we typically end up at 95, 93, something like that. So yeah, some 10 to 15%, I think, is what we're going to be seeing across the board in collections, like less collections than normal.
Okay, so is it going to be, I just want to make sure I understand, where you were saying your typical collections across the board is right around 93, 95% of what you bill tenants, and you're saying you think you'll end up at 85. So do you think it'll be only that 7-8% below what you normally get, or is it still going to be 10-15% below what you normally get?
For us, I would say closer to 10%.
Okay.
At least for the next couple months, and then that's the thing, right? Like, we just don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what we're expecting, at least for next month as well as this month.
Yeah, I know. I got an alert on LinkedIn today, and I just pulled it up because I wanted to make sure I was doing it right. And maybe if anybody's watching, I'll take a picture or something afterwards and put on my story and try to link it if anybody wants to see it. But as of 8 hours ago, from new data from the Wall Street Journal, apparently only 69% of tenants across the country have paid any of their rent between April 1st and 5th, compared with 81% in the first week of March. So that's about a 12% decline for April 1st to 5th versus March 1st to 5th. But the asterisk they do throw in there, and what you always have to keep in mind too, is what day of the week that is compared to when paychecks go out. So they don't actually say, like, I didn't read it too much, but obviously if like last March, let's say, a big paycheck Friday fell in, on the 2nd of the month, you're probably going to have a higher payment. So it's a little bit misleading, but obviously not all of that is going to be accounted for that. So
Yeah,
it
you
does
need to
look
take
like
it with a grain of salt. You also don't know. I guess they're throwing in class A, B, C, D, everything in there, and
yep. They're also throwing in, New York, Washington,
yeah,
DC, Long Island, places that have got hit harder. And
harder. Yeah, exactly.
also places that have, significantly more restrictive landlord tenant laws as well. So,
Right.
people in New York know it can take you 6 months on, a normal schedule to actually become evicted from your apartment. Now it could be 12 months for all,
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but I just thought it was interesting. I was out on a run earlier and that popped up and I would almost stop the run to check it out, but I was almost done. So I finished and then looked it up. And it says 13.4 million rental apartments were analyzed in the report. It doesn't actually say what percentage of the market that is. I don't know. Do you know? I doubt you know this. Do you know the nationwide number of rental units by any chance? I can't even read it. It's the Wall
No,
Street
but
Journal.
it's probably close to 30-ish. I don't know why that number popped into my mind.
Yeah. Either way, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but no, I think that's interesting because for us, we haven't gotten anything we haven't gotten anything since the 5th or the 6th, depending upon where. We have about just under 1,000 units in Jacksonville, just under 1,000 units in Columbus, Ohio. And then we got a property in Mobile, a property in Clarksville, Tennessee, a property in Greenville, South Carolina, a property in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I think that's it, unless I'm forgetting one. But across the board, all of ours were pretty close to our 3 or 12-month average prior to. It was only maybe 3 properties that were a few percentage points below. And it was funny. We actually had one property in Columbus, Ohio, that's been a heavy lift. Then it's every month has been trending up and we still had we actually had higher collections for the first 5 days in April than we had prior.
Was it distressed?
Yeah. We bought it 70% occupied. We're putting in 15 a door into it. I mean, it was a war zone. So that's why it's got a little asterisk next to it too. But it was just funny. It was just as we were getting reports, it's wow, this one's actually doing better. So I don't think that'll continue, but it was just interesting to see.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this.
I think next month it's probably. I mean, because I don't see this, going away this month.
No.
So next month it's probably going to be harder because, from personal experience, it's not I definitely personally, maybe because I'm a real estate owner and apartment owner, I don't plan on not paying or making excuses to not pay my rent. But if I would probably do it in May.
Mm-hmm.
The first month you kind of, okay, well, I still have a little bit of savings left or whatever. And then, okay, well, I'm going to pay my place. But then next month, now you start, don't pay the car, you defer the payments of the whatever insurance and whatnot. And then you get to May or even June,
mm-hmm.
hopefully not. And then you're going to say, well, I'm not going to pay the rent. So I don't know. Let's see. It's we're definitely trying to monitor it on a daily basis at this point. That's I wanted to ask you that. How has your asset management systems and processes changed this past couple weeks?
So it's way more phone calls with our managers than ever before. It's almost every day or multiple times a day, depending upon, which manager and what we're doing and, the different properties too. Some need more attention than others. But it hasn't so far, things haven't overly changed too much from our side besides just continually trying to come up with different ideas and strategies and plans. This whole past week, it's been about the payroll protection plan, getting that implemented and seeing if we qualify and getting the money to keep our staff on and then also keep them on and get the grant so that we actually save money over this. I think it's 3 or 4 month period. I forget. But at first we thought we could apply ourselves. But then we realized we couldn't because technically all our employees are are employed by the property management companies, like,
Correct.
so now the property managers are having to apply, and then they're actually going to pull. What would happen is, even though they're, in case anybody doesn't know, even though they're on the property manager's payroll, the property itself still pays the salaries and wages for all the on-site staff. So you would have, for, $40,000 for your manager or $50,000 for your manager on your expenses, but technically they're employed and their health insurance and everything is through the property management company. So they're going to have to actually pull that line item off our expenses, bring all the staff fully onto their payroll. I don't understand the intricacies, but this is what we're being told. And then they're going to be able to pay the staff with the loan, retain the staff. And if you retain a certain percent or retain them for however long, it turns into a grant where you don't have to pay back the principal plus interest. So that may actually turn into a benefit in, this period where, besides, depending upon what type of property you buy and what taxes are like, it's either your most expensive or your second most expensive line item. So, if you can save on that, that's huge. So that's been the big focus for us the last week, is figuring out these plans, figuring out, small business plans too, just for Toro as the company. I really haven't been involved in that. John and Don as the owners have been doing it mostly. They've been the ones doing it. And then the other one too is really the big thing that I've been focused on, has really been trying to understand the new unemployment procedures and what the pay is for everyone, because this is where you were talking about in May, you think it may get worse. I almost think it's possible it may get better even, or stay flat, because
if it works as it should. And I've been I wanted to talk about this. Well, not talk. I wanted to listen about this because I've been following you obviously on social media, and I've seen you very actively asking questions about this topic. So I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more, because honestly, other than 1 year of my life, year and a half, I've never actually been a W-2 employee. So that whole unemployment process, how it works, the whole thing, I have no idea how it works.
Well, now I think you can even file for unemployment as a 1099, as an independent contractor. Well, that's what's going on in New York and New Jersey. So I had an agent guy named Dan, if you're watching, shout out Dan, told me that because I guess in Jersey, the same way as in New York, they had put real estate agents and real estate people as non-essential, which obviously would qualify you. And then all of a sudden they just flipped it to now they are essential. And now there's a big uproar of like, well, do we still qualify for unemployment if, just because you're essential, the amount of listings and the amount of sales you're going to have in this time period is going to go down drastically. So, if all of a sudden, if you just started and you average one home a year, good chance you're not selling a home this year. Or, even if you sold 10 homes a year, you may not sell anything, or it may be greatly reduced or whatever. So there's that big battle back and forth of, are they going to qualify? Are they not? So it's interesting. Chris Turcotte's been commenting. He said, in Canada, PMs, mortgage brokers, and realtors are essential. Interesting contrast. Yeah, it's so different too in the US. And Chris, maybe we'll have to get you on one day and talk about Canada versus the US, because that'd be interesting. Obviously all the different states are doing it differently. So it's like for everything, every single property in every single state, we have to understand the process and what's going on. Like the big thing right now in most of these areas is, everybody is supposed to get normal unemployment, and then they're supposed to also qualify for an extra $600 a week. And that's great for us and our tenants too, because our average rent across our portfolio, I would assume, is like $750. Our highest rent is probably like $950. Our lowest is probably like $600. So I would say we're probably $700, $750. If you took $600 times 4 for the month, let's say, that's $2,400. All of our properties require 3 times the monthly rent as your income. That would make, $2,400 divided by 3 is $800. So we'd be in the clear. And that's only part of the unemployment. Now they're going to get even more than that. So it could be, they could be making, $3,000, $3,500 a month. Who knows? So now they're even well and above, However, as I've spoken to a couple of people and I've started researching it, the infrastructure to have people actually apply for the unemployment is just broken down because
that's where I get I just don't think. Listen, the system as a whole, like everything, it doesn't really work when everyone needs it at the same time. Whether that's food, health, whatever, anything, it just doesn't. It's not built for that, right? So I just don't understand. I just can't see how this whole thing, the unemployment and the benefits and everything, is going to be, beneficial for everyone that applies and it be done correctly and as it should. I'm not saying they're not trying hard enough, because I guess they are, but it's going to be a challenge. To say the least, I would say. So,
for sure. But that's why I think, because this program, I think, was officially rolled out, like, I want to say either early this week or like late last week or something. It was like signed into effect. Here it goes. And obviously it was, okay, now the money's there. How do we get it deployed out? And with everybody that's applying, and, these places just not built to handle this volume. It's nobody's fault. It's just, you've never needed the staff or the infrastructure to handle 10 million unemployment claims. And I'm sure it's going to be upwards of, 16, 20 million after we get what's today, Wednesday? We'll get the new report tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be even more. It's just not capable of handling that volume. And some places are way worse than others. Like I've heard Florida is terrible. So that's where I think that in May, what may happen is, like, from a lot of things I've read, is they're anticipating that they should be getting it from April, but they're not going to actually get the money until late April, early May, but it'll accrue and they'll get all that money. So that's where I was saying in May, I think there's actually a very good possibility. Chris, take care, bud. Thanks for chiming in. There's actually a very good possibility that now people get all this back pay, and, maybe it's not by the 5th, right? Maybe it's by the 15th, or maybe it's by the 20th of May, as, the infrastructure kind of catches up. I'm a little less worried as I've dug into this unemployment, kind of lift that they've given. However, a lot of things can change in the next 3 weeks. I mean, things are changing so quickly. I'm reading more articles and news stuff than I ever have, because I'm just trying to stay up to date with everything that's happening. I mean, things are changing literally hour by hour, day by day, week by week. And just because they say, they want to give everybody $600 a week, maybe they only thought it was going to go up to 12 million people, and we're going to go up to 25 million people, let's just say, or, 40 million people, right? Let's just say, right. People are, apply because they realize, they're going to be able to actually bring in more money for a 4-month period than they would if they're working. So they don't care.
It's just so many variables at this point. It's just so many variables. You just can't control, like, you literally have no control over a lot of things. And the things that you can't control are affected by the ones that you can't. So it's definitely very challenging, and I wouldn't want to be in, those big leadership, shoes at this point. It's hard. But
I'm curious. What have you guys been discussing on the loan side for your properties? Are you guys going? Are they all agency loans, or do you have different types of loans? Are you guys looking to do any sort of like forbearance or loan modifications? Have you guys made a decision there yet?
Yes, we have. First thing we did was, set up a call with our lender, talk to them, let them know what our position is, try to put together some of our numbers, rent rolls, T12, balance sheet, everything to, prepare for the conversation, just to paint a pretty good picture. It's the main partner is the lender, right? So we just want to be on the same page with them. And the decision was that for now, we're definitely, for now, and unless we absolutely have to, which I don't think it's going to happen, or anything. The bottom line, and I'm not super savvy on how the process works or anything. But ultimately, the bottom line for us, which we discussed with the lender, was, listen, it doesn't really matter if you can later say, hey, well, it was because of the coronavirus or whatever reason which is a logical and valid reason at this point. In the future, the lender, everyone's going to bounce back, and the lender is going to look back and say, okay, which of the borrowers actually went into panic mode? How did they act during this crisis? Odds are that they're not going to want to work with you in the future, because they're going to pick and choose. Okay, these are the guys that we consider the guys that are more serious, and whatever that means, right? Because we've seen some owners, and from what the lender told us, some owners, they don't have any real reason to be asking for forbearance or anything. They're just panicking, and then some others, they actually do have to, but why do they have to? Maybe they don't have enough reserves. How did they structure the deal to begin with that they find themselves in this position, So all those questions and all those answers are going to allow the lenders to make, like a tougher filter, if you will, in the future. So we definitely want to stay away from it. Generally speaking, we still need to hear back from one of our operating partners in Dallas to see if some of the deals that we have there are going to be in a position that's going to basically, where we're going to have to ask for forbearance. But again, I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is exactly the times where we actually don't think it's going to happen, but we do prepare for, and over raising money and trying to have general good reserves and
it's
and
important.
all that. It's huge, and it didn't really matter for the last 8 years.
No.
Now it happened. It's like, okay, shit.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. So. Are they all? I don't know if you mentioned or I missed it. Are they all agency, or do you have any banks, CMBS, bridge?
We have bridge on a couple of deals, maybe 3. So 50% of the deals that we have right now, it's like agency, and then the other.
Yeah, I know. For us, we're very similar. Only on one property did we take forbearance right away, and that was our ground up development deal, and that's been struggling this year because
that makes sense, right?
Yeah, well, it's been built. This is our second year of lease up, but it had the lowest enrollment in the last 15 years. So we've been struggling a bit for occupancy, and we're with a local bank. They're only it's in Clarksville, Tennessee. They're the only bank there. And we just called them up. We said, yeah, guys, don't even worry about it. No paperwork, whatever. So that was really great that they were, they want the project to succeed. They're not trying to, nail us to a cross and take the property over. So they've been really great to work with. But yeah, very similar to you, all of our other properties,
and that type of relationship, it's a different relationship as well. So you need to, you need to manage, you need to understand how to ask for it if you have to, who to ask, it's all based on that,
No.
So I guess obviously that makes sense.
Yeah. All of our other ones too, like some of our, agency loans, we had already paid by the end of March. So, we've paid through April, and there was no reason not to, because we have the reserves and stuff like that. And like you said, it's not like it's going to go away. You're going to have to pay it in the future anyway. So if you can pay, you can pay it, you might as well. Especially now that if we're going to get relief for payroll potentially, that could be huge. This stimulus bill is huge. I do think though that it's not, if you do take the forbearance, I don't think it's going to be a massive negative in the future, because I do think so many people are going to take it. You're going to be in, pretty good company. And let's be honest, in the future, in 3 years, Fannie and Freddie aren't looking at you going, oh, you guys did so well through the downturn, we'll shave your interest rate by 25 bips. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so it's definitely not going to be a big. It's also depend, like I mentioned, right? Like, okay, if it's with this I mean, obviously it's across the board, but
Mm-hmm.
even more so with the smaller
Yeah.
banks and stuff. Like you have like
Mm-hmm.
closer
Yeah.
relationship.
No, where I could
But
see it.
I mean, it is what it is. If you have to, you have to. Like
Yeah.
it's just like no one wants to be asking for that, right?
No.
It's just a
The
position where
the
we find ourselves.
the place I do think it would be beneficial in the future is if you don't take it and you go for like a heavy lifting project or a kind of like on the border fence type deal, and you're like, hey guys, look, we were right through all this, we didn't take forbearance, we got no marks on our record. I think that group probably gets the leverage there. Like that's enough for that deal to put them over the edge. So you know,
like that
it's
is
not,
that is
yeah,
under your sleeve. Like, okay, guys, well, you know, you don't want to make a decision. Why? What's happening? Well, you know what? Okay, here it is. We actually look at our history. We've never done, you know, we're never asked for forbearance, whatever.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
it could make a difference. Not,
yeah,
not necessarily like a huge deal, but
mm-hmm.
you know, whatever you can do to keep your reputation intact. Not like it's gonna not be, you know, a good reputation in the future, just like you said, because it's just something so huge that's happening that it's, I mean, it's normal, right? Like, but again, if you can avoid it and you well capitalized to navigate it, then you probably shouldn't.
No, I agree 100%. Cool. I think that's really good. How has it been just in Miami in general? Like, has it been crazy? Has it been all right? You know, have they, you know, you think they've been doing a good job? Because I'm trying to get people from all different areas and just, you know, understand how the country's doing it. So I'm curious what your interpretation of Miami is.
Yeah, my opinion is going to be very limited just because, well, first of all, I've been trying not to focus that much on and consuming all this news because I have a hard time sometimes, like actually identifying the good sources from the bad sources when it comes to this type of thing. So I typically try to stay away. I know the basics and stuff, but from a personal experience in terms of at least not how I guess government has been handling it, but from how people have been handling it. Initially, I was very surprised because everyone seemed to be like all my friends and yeah, people that I know, they've been, you know, been staying at home and doing all the things like they should. So I was thinking, okay, cool, this is crazy, man. Like the scale of this, of what's happening and how people have been reacting, I'm very surprised. I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
But then after a couple of weeks, I had to go out, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of cars in the street. Like all these people can't be going to the, you know, the supermarket or whatever. So I don't know. Then I started thinking, well, yeah, maybe my friends are not going out, but there's a lot of people in the street. And Florida in general, from what I've seen, it's not doing well. I mean, definitely not doing well. So yeah, man. I mean, it's that's the thing. I think people are never really gonna take it as serious as they should take it if there's no one really enforcing it. So generally speaking, it's my opinion. I think that governments and officials and everything should probably put a heavier, take a heavier stance and by law require people, like, I don't know, just roadblock, whatever. I have no idea, but it's just that's what I've seen.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you'd have a lot of people down in Florida in the South heavily disagree with you, but that's why it's great.
I mean,
it's just funny. No,
definitely.
No,
but,
I know.
I think part of it also, and I don't hate to say it, it is what it is. Maybe the Latino culture, we're a little bit lighter with this type of things, typically, you know? So again, some of my friends, the majority of my friends are like, they're taking it very seriously, but I still hear some of my friends, like maybe they still have the Venezuelan American mentality, like where they don't give a shit about anything. It's like, okay, fuck it. You know what? I'm not gonna pay attention to that. I'm going out. I'm going out on the boat and and inviting my friends home and shit. Like, like that's not a big. They just don't grasp the how things are, and maybe that cultural thing hasn't helped. But,
Gotcha. No, that's interesting because I know, up here I've spoken to a couple of people in the city and they said it's, just abandoned. Like there's like nobody's really out except on nice days. People are still going to the park a little bit, but staying away. But they said like so many restaurants aren't even delivering anymore. Like you order food on like Grubhub or Seamless or, Uber Eats. It's like,
the thing is in New York, man, in Manhattan, and like in the actual city, I mean, if you're not taking it seriously, then you're definitely crazy. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like the delivery's taken, 2 hours, where in the past it would take, half an hour. My buddy said like it's impossible to get stuff. But I came out east on Long Island like an hour and a half out, and it's been fine. I mean, it's tough because I'm, besides going to the grocery store, going for runs, going for walks, and like just, I think once I just went for a drive because I was like, I got to get out of my house. I don't see a whole lot, but like, it's everybody seems to be like staying inside and kind of doing their bit. I think probably being like the hub and the hotspot, people are a little bit more scared, a little bit more nervous, taking it a little bit more seriously. I know like the grocery store, like everyone's very mindful to like stay 6 feet apart. And like, even if you just kind of walk past someone, but like maybe it's 5 feet instead of 6, some people like jump out of the way to like make sure, which I think is funny because I think it's a little bit overkill, but no judgment. But yeah, it hasn't been nearly as bad out here as my friends still in the city are saying it's there. So I thought that was very interesting. Are you actually like in the city of Miami or are you in the suburbs around it?
I'm in Miami Beach, like North Miami Beach.
Gotcha.
I would say definitely, Miami.
Okay.
Because the thing is that the actual city of Miami, it's like the small space. In the middle of everything. But yeah, it's definitely Miami.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just know like sometimes people would be like, oh, I live, in LA or in Boston, but it's like they're actually 30 minutes out. But if you say the town, they won't know it. So that's why.
I'm like.
No, you're in the city. I know what you're
15 minutes from downtown, 20 minutes from downtown.
Exactly. So cool. Also, man, I know, obviously if anybody wants to learn more about you, they can just click the little bubble at the top and check out your Instagram. But is there anywhere else people can get in touch with you, learn more about you, stuff like that?
Yeah, man. I mean, well, definitely. Right now, we're putting a lot of efforts into our podcast. It's the first ever real estate investing, U.S. real estate investing podcast in Spanish. So we're trying to deliver a lot of content for people to understand how to make money investing in real estate, from wholesaling to private lending to house flipping to being a realtor, being a whatever. So we're very excited about it. In the future, we're gonna be doing some online courses in Spanish. We're building this platform to share all this online education for the Hispanic community that want to, become real estate entrepreneurs some way or the other, and then ultimately achieve financial freedom through real estate investments.
Yep, that's awesome. I love that.
About that, and obviously, the request is for people to, if you speak Spanish or you have someone that it's in real estate and being successful and has a good story of success or failure. We would love to hear from you. The show is called Se Habla Real Estate, like we speak real estate. And it's in iTunes and all the platforms and all that. You can email us at info@sehablarealestate.co. And we're on Instagram and all the social media platforms with that company as well. So feel free to reach out there. And for me directly, I mean, I'm on Instagram mostly, but I'm Lee. You type Lennon Lee or Lennon Lee multifamily on Google, you're gonna find me. So I'm always looking forward to
awesome.
connect.
Great, man. You got any last thoughts for us and anybody that's watching?
No, man. I mean, I think I would tell people, man, listen, be grateful, man. I mean, I know I've been going through this whole crisis and having a tougher time than others, but I know there are people that are out there that are having it way worse, not only during this crisis but in general, right? So let's just be grateful. Let's go back to what that's what I've been doing anyway. I've been going back to building back my old good habits that I lost along the way, just cooking and taking care of myself and meditating, whatever that means for you. Just really take the time. And most importantly, if it's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it is since you started this process, don't be so hard on yourself. The first couple of weeks for me, adapting to working from home and being all on my own, even though I enjoy it, but I was under a different situation. It was hard. So I was not productive, but that's fine. That's fine. I just think that's, whatever, man, who cares, like just get started tomorrow and that's it. Or Monday. Well,
yeah, absolutely.
But the point is just go after it and just take your time, get to know yourself. We changed a lot in a couple of years from who we were a year before. So you might say, well, I know myself. I know who I am. Well, maybe not, take your time, check yourself out and see what's going on and act on it. And just chill, man. I think people need to chill out for a little bit and take in a lot of this good vibe that's out there, this connection and this whole thing. So that's the way I'm approaching it anyway. So
I love it, man. Ton of great little nuggets, great advice. Lennon, thanks so much for doing this, guys. If you watch this on live, thank you so much for checking it out. If you're watching on YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern every night on my Instagram at chris.grenzig, bringing on a guest, 30 days to go check it out. Anybody watching on live, this will be up on YouTube either tonight or tomorrow morning. You can go check it out. The whole thing recorded. Lennon, again, thank you so much, man. I think you gave a ton of great insights. This was great. So thank you.
Cool. Love it, man. Take care.
Yep. Have a great night, everyone.